Ladies and gentlemen, relying solely on motivation to get things done is one of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to be productive. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes based on emotions, energy levels, and external factors. Some days you wake up feeling inspired and ready to tackle your tasks, but on other days you may feel sluggish, unmotivated, or simply uninterested. If you depend only on motivation, your productivity will be inconsistent and important tasks may get delayed. This is where discipline becomes essential. Unlike motivation, discipline is a habit that can be developed, trained, and relied upon even when you don't feel like doing the work. Discipline means committing to a task or goal, regardless of how you feel at any given moment. It is about creating routines and habits that make taking action a non-negotiable part of your daily life. The most successful people are not necessarily the most motivated. They are the ones who have mastered self-discipline. They do the work whether they feel like it or not because they understand that consistent effort leads to results. One of the most effective ways to build discipline is by establishing a structured routine. When you set a clear schedule for your tasks, you remove the need to make a decision every day about whether or not to do something. For example, if you decide to exercise at 6 a.m. every morning, over time, it becomes an automatic habit rather than a choice. The same principle applies to work, studying, or any other goal you want to achieve. The key is to make these actions a regular part of your day so that they no longer depend on motivation. Another important aspect of discipline is setting clear goals and breaking them down into actionable steps. When tasks seem overwhelming, it is easy to put them off until you feel like it. However, when you divide them into smaller, manageable parts, it becomes easier to get started. For instance, if you need to write a report, rather than thinking about completing the entire document, start with a single paragraph. This approach eliminates the mental resistance that often comes with large tasks. Accountability is also a powerful tool for building discipline. When you set deadlines, track your progress, or involve others in your commitments, you are more likely to follow through. Many people find that sharing their goals with a friend, mentor, or support group helps them stay committed. External accountability creates an additional layer of responsibility that pushes you to take action, even when motivation is low. It is also important to reframe your mindset about discipline. Many people associate discipline with restriction or struggle, but in reality, discipline provides freedom. When you develop strong habits, you no longer waste time debating whether or not to do something. You just do it. This efficiency allows you to accomplish more in less time, reducing stress and increasing confidence in your ability to follow through on commitments. Ultimately, discipline is the foundation of success in any area of life. While motivation may give you a temporary boost, discipline ensures that you keep moving forward regardless of the circumstances. By training yourself to take action consistently, you build resilience, improve productivity, and achieve long-term goals. Taking on big tasks or major goals can often feel overwhelming, leading to procrastination and inaction. Many people wait for the right moment, the perfect plan, or a surge of motivation before they start. However, progress does not come from waiting. It comes from taking action, no matter how small. Starting with small steps is the key to overcoming resistance and building momentum. Even the most daunting tasks become manageable when broken down into smaller parts. The first step may seem insignificant, but it creates movement, and once you are in motion, continuing becomes easier. One of the main reasons people struggle to get started is the fear of failure, or the belief that they need to have everything figured out before taking action. This mindset leads to overthinking and hesitation. Instead of trying to perfect every detail in advance, focusing on just one small step at a time removes pressure and allows for gradual improvement. A small step can be as simple as writing the first sentence of a report, doing 5 minutes of exercise, or organizing one folder. These actions may seem minor, but they set things in motion, making the next step feel less intimidating. Momentum is a powerful force in productivity. Once you start, the effort required to keep going decreases. It is similar to pushing a heavy object. Getting it to move initially takes effort, but once it is rolling, it requires much less force to keep it going. The same principle applies to habits, projects, and personal goals. The hardest part is often beginning, but once you take that first step, your brain shifts into action mode, and the next steps become more natural. Small wins also play a crucial role in maintaining momentum. Each time you complete even a tiny task, you experience a sense of accomplishment. This feeling reinforces positive behavior and encourages further action. Celebrating small successes, no matter how minor they seem, builds confidence and motivation to keep going. Over time, these small achievements accumulate, leading to significant progress. Instead of waiting for a major breakthrough, focusing on consistent, small victories makes the process more sustainable and rewarding. Developing a routine of taking small actions daily helps eliminate the need for willpower. When a task becomes part of your daily habits, it no longer requires a conscious decision to begin. It simply becomes what you do. This approach removes the mental barriers that often lead to procrastination. For example, if you want to develop a habit of reading, starting with just 5 minutes a day makes it easier to integrate into your routine. Eventually, 5 minutes can turn into 10, then 20, and before you know it, reading becomes a natural part of your day. Starting small is not about limiting ambition. It is about making success achievable. Many great achievements begin with simple, consistent actions. The key is to focus on progress rather than perfection. Even if the steps feel small, they are still steps forward. Over time, consistent action compounds into remarkable results. Instead of waiting for motivation or the perfect conditions, taking small steps today is what leads to long-term success. Clarity is essential when it comes to achieving goals. Without a clear direction, it is easy to feel lost, overwhelmed, or distracted by less important tasks. Setting specific goals provides focus and helps create a roadmap for progress. When you know exactly what you want to achieve, decision-making becomes easier and your energy is directed toward meaningful actions. Vague or broad goals such as be more productive or get healthier often fail because they lack specificity. Instead, defining precise objectives like complete a project by Friday or exercise 3 times a week provides a clear target to work toward. Prioritization is equally important. Not all tasks contribute equally to progress, and spending time on low-impact activities can create the illusion of productivity without actual results. Identifying the most important tasks, the ones that have the greatest effect on your goals, ensures that time and effort are spent wisely. A common mistake is trying to do too many things at once, leading to exhaustion and unfinished work. Instead, focusing on the highest priority tasks first allows for better efficiency and meaningful accomplishments. One effective method for prioritization is the Eisenhower matrix, which categorizes tasks into 4 quadrants: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent nor important. Urgent and important tasks require immediate attention, while important but not urgent tasks contribute to long-term success and should be scheduled. Tasks that are urgent but not important often create unnecessary stress and can sometimes be delegated. Those that are neither urgent nor important should be minimized or eliminated altogether. Using this method helps in making conscious decisions about where to focus time and energy. Another useful approach is the 80/20 rule, or Pareto principle, which suggests that 80% of results come from 20% of efforts. By identifying and prioritizing the tasks that yield the most significant outcomes, productivity can be increased without excessive workload. For instance, if a business owner realizes that a small percentage of customers generate the majority of revenue, focusing on maintaining strong relationships with those customers will have a bigger impact than spreading efforts too thin. The same concept applies to personal goals, where identifying key actions that drive the most progress allows for smarter work rather than just working harder. Setting deadlines and breaking tasks into smaller steps further enhances clarity and prioritization. A large project can feel overwhelming when viewed as a whole, but breaking it into specific manageable tasks with deadlines creates a structured approach. For example, instead of saying write a book, setting smaller milestones, such as outline the first 3 chapters by next week, makes the process less daunting and more actionable. Deadlines also provide urgency, preventing procrastination and ensuring steady progress. Balancing priorities requires flexibility as well. Unexpected tasks or challenges may arise, requiring adjustments. Reviewing goals regularly and reassessing priorities helps in staying on track. Some tasks may become less relevant over time, while new ones may take precedence. The ability to adapt while maintaining focus on the bigger picture is key to long-term success. Ultimately, having clear goals and prioritizing effectively allows for better decision-making, greater efficiency, and a stronger sense of purpose. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by an endless to-do list, focusing on what truly matters ensures steady progress and meaningful achievement. Holding yourself accountable and committing fully to your goals are 2 of the most powerful ways to ensure success. Many people set goals but struggle to follow through because there are no real consequences for inaction. Without accountability, it is easy to delay, make excuses, or become distracted by other priorities. However, when you establish a system of accountability, whether through personal discipline or external support, you create an environment where progress is expected and necessary. One of the most effective ways to stay accountable is by setting clear, specific commitments. When you define exactly what needs to be done and by when, there is less room for procrastination. Vague commitments like, I'll start exercising soon, or I'll work on my project later, often lead to inaction because there is no clear deadline or structure. Instead, committing to, I will work out 3 times this week, or I will complete the first section of my project by Friday, sets a concrete expectation. Writing these commitments down or sharing them with others adds another layer of accountability, making it harder to ignore. External accountability is also a powerful motivator. When you involve others in your commitments, such as a friend, mentor, or accountability partner, you increase the likelihood of following through. Knowing that someone else is aware of your goals and expecting progress creates a sense of responsibility. This is why many people find success in group settings like workout partners, study groups, or professional coaching programs. When someone checks in on your progress, it adds a level of pressure that can be highly effective in keeping you on track. Another useful strategy is tracking your progress regularly. Keeping a journal, using an app, or maintaining a checklist allows you to see your growth over time. When you can measure progress, it reinforces your commitment and provides motivation to continue. Small wins add up, and seeing tangible results makes it easier to stay dedicated to the bigger picture. If progress slows or stalls, tracking helps identify areas that need improvement, allowing for adjustments before losing momentum completely. Commitment also requires a mindset shift. Many people start with enthusiasm but lose motivation when challenges arise. True commitment means sticking to a goal even when it becomes difficult or inconvenient. It is about making your goal a priority and not just an option. This often requires pushing through discomfort, resisting distractions, and overcoming self-doubt. Reminding yourself why you started in the first place can help reinforce your commitment during moments of difficulty. Eliminating excuses is another essential part of accountability and commitment. When you allow yourself to make excuses, you create an easy way out of your responsibilities. A disciplined mindset recognizes that while circumstances may not always be ideal, progress is still possible. Instead of focusing on obstacles, committed individuals look for solutions and adapt to challenges. Ultimately, accountability and commitment are what separate those who achieve their goals from those who don't. Motivation may fluctuate, but a strong sense of responsibility and dedication ensures consistent progress. Whether through internal discipline or external support, creating systems that reinforce accountability makes it easier to stay committed and turn intentions into achievements. Discomfort is often seen as something to avoid, but it is actually one of the most important factors in growth and success. Many people wait until they feel ready, confident, or inspired before taking action, but that moment rarely comes. Growth happens outside of comfort zones, and the ability to embrace discomfort is what separates those who make progress from those who stay stuck. Discomfort signals that you are challenging yourself, learning new things, and pushing past limitation. Instead of seeing it as a negative experience, shifting your mindset to view discomfort as a sign of progress can make all the difference. One of the biggest reasons people avoid discomfort is fear. Fear of failure, rejection, or making mistakes can prevent action. However, failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of the process. Every successful person has faced setbacks, but they did not let those setbacks stop them. Instead of seeing failure as something to be feared, it should be embraced as a learning experience. The more you expose yourself to challenges, the more resilient you become. Over time, what once felt uncomfortable will start to feel normal, and that is how progress happens. Discomfort also plays a major role in building discipline. If you only take action when it feels easy or convenient, consistency becomes impossible. There will always be days when you don't feel like doing the work, but pushing through those moments strengthens your ability to stay committed. This applies to all areas of life, whether it is waking up early, exercising, learning a new skill, or working on a difficult project. The ability to act despite discomfort is what builds true mental toughness. Many people avoid discomfort because they associate it with pain or struggle. However, the discomfort of growth is different from unnecessary suffering. Growth discomfort is temporary and leads to improvement, while avoiding discomfort leads to stagnation and long-term regret. It is often the things we resist the most that we need to face in order to move forward. Recognizing this can help reframe the way discomfort is perceived. Instead of avoiding difficult tasks, facing them head-on with the mindset that they are shaping you into a stronger, more capable person can make them feel more manageable. Another key aspect of embracing discomfort is changing the way challenges are approached. Instead of focusing on how difficult something is, shifting focus to the benefits and rewards of overcoming that difficulty can increase motivation. For example, instead of dreading a workout, focusing on the strength and energy it will bring makes it easier to push through. Instead of fearing public speaking, seeing it as an opportunity to grow and develop confidence changes the perspective. The way discomfort is framed determines whether it becomes an obstacle or an opportunity. Overcoming discomfort is a skill that can be trained. The more you expose yourself to difficult situations, the more comfortable you become with them. What once felt impossible starts to feel normal. Small acts of discomfort, like taking cold showers, speaking up in meetings, or pushing yourself a little harder in workouts, build a tolerance for challenges. Over time, this translates into bigger areas of life, making it easier to handle uncertainty, pressure, and adversity. Ultimately, discomfort is not something to be feared but embraced. It is a sign that you are growing, improving, and stepping closer to your goals. The sooner you accept that discomfort is part of the process, the faster you will progress. Instead of waiting for things to feel easy, leaning into the challenge and pushing through discomfort leads to long-term success and fulfillment. Success is not the result of one big action or a single moment of motivation, but rather the accumulation of consistent efforts over time. Many people start with enthusiasm, but struggle to maintain momentum because they expect immediate results. However, true progress comes from showing up every day, even when it feels difficult or unexciting. Consistency builds habits, reinforces discipline, and leads to lasting improvements. The small actions repeated consistently are what ultimately shape outcomes. One of the biggest misconceptions about success is that it requires constant motivation. Motivation fluctuates. It can be strong one day and completely absent the next. If you only take action when you feel motivated, your progress will be inconsistent. Successful people do not rely on motivation, they rely on discipline and routine. When you commit to a process and stick to it regardless of how you feel, results naturally follow. A person who exercises 3 times a week, even with low motivation, will see more progress than someone who works out intensely once and then stops for weeks. Consistency is powerful because it compounds over time. Just like compound interest in finance, small actions add up and create significant results in the long run. Writing 1 page a day may not seem like much, but in a year it adds up to a full book. Practicing a skill for just 15 minutes a day leads to noticeable improvement over months. The key is to focus on steady progress rather than perfection or immediate success. When small efforts become a regular habit, they eventually lead to mastery. One of the main reasons people struggle with consistency is setting unrealistic expectations. When goals are too ambitious or the workload is overwhelming, it becomes difficult to sustain. Instead of aiming for massive changes overnight, starting small and gradually increasing effort makes consistency easier to maintain. If someone wants to start reading more, beginning with just 5 pages a day instead of an entire book makes it less intimidating. Over time, as the habit solidifies, it becomes easier to increase the effort without feeling overwhelmed. Another challenge with consistency is dealing with setbacks. Many people give up after missing a day or making a mistake, believing they have failed. However, setbacks are a normal part of the process. Missing 1 day at the gym or taking a break from work does not erase all progress. What matters is getting back on track without letting small failures turn into long-term abandonment. The mindset should be about long-term commitment rather than perfection. Building consistency requires structure. Having a routine, setting reminders, and tracking progress help reinforce habits. When something is scheduled and becomes a non-negotiable part of the day, it is less likely to be skipped. Accountability also plays a role, whether it's sharing goals with a friend, using a progress journal, or joining a group with similar objectives. External accountability increases the likelihood of sticking with commitments. In the end, success is not about making the biggest moves in the shortest time, but about making steady, intentional progress over the long run. Those who stay consistent, even through challenges and low-energy days, are the ones who ultimately achieve their goals. Instead of focusing on quick results, committing to the process and trusting in gradual improvement leads to long-term success.